What's up, guys? Welcome back to DameMasBeats. In English, the name of the YouTube channel would be Give Me Mo Beats. As you guys can already figure it out, I do a lot of video tutorial in Spanish. If you guys haven't figured that out, feel free to click on my video so that way you guys can watch it if you guys speak Spanish. But I'm gonna try to balance it out every once in a while to talk in English so that way you guys can learn a little bit more about me when it comes to making beats. Anyhow, today I want to talk about how to master your track. So we all know how to master our tracks, honestly. I mean, most of us do at least. I'm gonna show you guys the process how to master a track, but the reason why we as music producers we master our tracks is so that way we can upload it in different platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, between many others that we know. And we try to capture the attention of, the local artist, whether it's a singer or rapper, so that way once they click in our song, and not our song, in our beat, they'll be like, yo man, you know what? This guy right here, this cat right over here sounds really dope. I want to know more about them. And at that point, you guys can talk about money exchange, about collaborating, about, pretty much doing whatever you guys want to do since you already established a connection with that guy. And it all depends on you how you want to control that situation because the artist is coming to you instead of the other way around. So I guess in a way you got the upper field, maybe, perhaps. Anyways, let me show you guys the beat. Oh, and before I keep on going, last thing I want to show you guys, make sure to subscribe to my IG, DameMasBeats. I upload every 1 or 2 days other stuff about, just not my daily life, but I mean the stuff that I'm doing when it comes to making music and beats. So, yeah. Alright, so I'm recording. Just want to double check everything. Okay. So now we go with the next. So this is the beat. And before I even play the beat, as you guys can see right here, everything's already mixed. So don't even think about, starting to master your track by adding all these plugins, all these effects and stuff like that, because you first have to have a really good mix in order to have an amazing mastered out track. So at this point, you just have to know which instruments are gonna play first as in which ones are gonna be up front so the listener can hear, which sounds are gonna be the back, so that way it can serve its purpose as a background sound. So that way the beat won't sound too dead. Which ones are gonna be in the middle? Which other sounds are gonna be in the sides, as in stereo wise? Same thing when it comes to the drums. Are you guys trying to aim at? I want this track to be really heavy when it comes to the kick and bass. You guys can do that. Or I'm trying to make it sound more musically, so you guys can put all your instruments up front and make sure that the drums, such as the kick, snare, hi-hat, cymbals, and all that good stuff, is pushed a little bit back. Because it all has to make sense. Not to the listener, but to yourself. Ask yourself this question. You know what? Does my mix sound good? If the answer is yes, keep on going. If you say no, make sure to go back and try to tweak around a couple of settings, knobs, just to make sure that everything sounds good when it comes to the mixing stage, which is this one I'm teaching you guys, showing you guys about. And after, you ask yourself again, hey, does it sound good? Boom. If you say yes, advance to the next stage, to the next phase, which is mastering your track to make it sound even more fabulous. So this is what my beat sounds like. It's hip hop with some 808s, a little bit analog sounding like. So yeah, a good beat. This beat is definitely up for sale, but before I can even sell it, I gotta make sure I make my website, my beat maker website, so that way I can upload tons of really great songs, really great beats, so that way you guys can have a selection of like which one you guys want to purchase it, or maybe DM me and we can talk about what other stuff we can do besides money exchange and so on and so forth. I like connecting with people, I like networking and establishing my relationship with people, so yeah, that's a different route for me too. Anyhow, so that's the beat. Now we're gonna master it. keep on making sure that I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Beautiful. Okay, so the first thing you guys gonna do, gonna go to your master track. So the first thing I got right here is kind of like a metering level. So what this is, I just want to see what's the highest peaks of the hardest part. I want to hear the highest peak. Man, I feel like I'm getting tongue twisted right here. So you guys gonna highlight where all your songs are at in the beat. And this right here, I can see that my highest peak when it comes to music, it sits right on, oh, actually a little bit underneath negative 8 dB. Just at 8 dB, so between 7 and 8, I'm just gonna call it 7.5. And the reason why you want your beats to always hit under negative 6 dB is because you want the artist to have a lot of headspace, so that way they can lay their vocals on top of the track. Because the same way we're about to master this track in a couple of seconds is the same way they're gonna make sure their vocals sound crispy, clean, and white using, you know, effects such as from iZotope, from FabFilter, from, man, there's a lot of other companies, Waves, from, I believe it's called Toy Sounds, or the other way around, Sound Toys, no, Toy Sounds. You know, there's a lot of really great companies out there that provide a lot of really great utilities in order to make the beats as well as the vocals sound so much better. So yeah, so now that I kind of went on a rant about that, let's start mixing the beat. So the first thing I want to do is add from iZotope, an exciter. An exciter is pretty much kind of like a, how can I describe this plugin? It enhances the harmonics of the beat. Now, what I want to do is I want to set my bands to a certain frequency, so that way I know anything from 2200 hertz is going to be the low frequency, anything from 200 to 1.5k is going to be the low mids and the mids. Anything right here is going to be the high mids, and after 10k and above it's going to be, of course, the high frequency spectrum of the beats. And in order to get a deeper understanding about this plugin, which is a harmony enhancer, that doesn't sound right. It enhances the harmonics, so that way you guys can get a better understanding besides the visual. You guys always have to over exaggerate the plugin in order to hear the differences between when it's not distorting. So that's pretty much what it's going to distort the sound. You want to hear it when it starts distorting. So pretty much this right here, this is the line of distortion, right? So we want to make sure we overdo it, so that way we can start pulling down little by little the threshold till we are just right underneath that threshold level of distortion, so that way we can excite all the bottom frequencies, all the low frequencies. So I can't use my speakers as a reference, because then it's going to hit the mic and then you guys are going to hear it and it's going to create this thing called feedback, and it's just going to sound really terrible. So I'm going to master my beat using my headphones to the best of my abilities. Pretty sure afterwards I'm going to reference it out with the speakers just to make sure I got to, you know, it sounds good on headphones and on speakers. Anyhow, let's do it. I'm still recording, right? Beautiful. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure to lower the volume on your speakers because it's gonna sound really loud. I'm gonna solo this band and I'm gonna increase the volume until we start to hear distortion. You guys already hear the distortion right there. I'm gonna turn up the volume on my headphones too. Oh man, that sounds loud. That's why I said lower your volume. I still hear some distortion right there. Not so much, but I still hear a little bit. Let me do 5.5. So let me A/B it. This is with effect on the, once again, from 20 to 200 hertz. That's the sound unprocessed. This is with the processing. I can hear it. I'm gonna do, ooh, not 500. What am I doing? 1.5. I can still hear the sound, but I'm gonna leave it like that because with the other plugins that we're gonna add on our chain, our mastering chain, is gonna take care of it. So I feel like 5.0 for this track is really good for the low frequencies. Now we're gonna go with this one. We're gonna take away this one. So now we're just gonna hear the spectrum field from 200 to 1.5K, which is the low mids and mids. So here we go again. We're gonna do the same process. A-B it. I'm not gonna lie, I really like it right there. You guys might think I'm over exaggerating or I might want to distort this beat, but no, it's nothing like that. You guys will see that with other plugins and stuff like that, everything's gonna make sense. It might not make sense right now, but it's gonna make sense. Trust me. I'm still recording, right? Beautiful. Okay, so the next thing is let's do this one. Same process again. It definitely sounds crunchier. I think I might just leave it right there. Let's go with this one. For this one, I'm gonna do 11.5. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm A/B it with the plugin activated. So this is the bypass. This is without defect, without being processed. And here's the major difference. As you guys can hear it, the beat already sounds more alive. I mean, the mixing stage was definitely really good, but now just using this one plugin, which is increasing the harmonies of certain spectrum fields, it just sounds so much better. It sounds like the beat is more alive, and that's what we want. That's what we're aiming for. So the next one I'm gonna use, it's gonna be usually a lot of people like to do compressor before EQ or EQ before compressor. Honestly, it's whatever you want to do, whatever sounds best for you. Even though if you flip those around, those plugins around on the master track, is definitely gonna give it a different tone. But at the end of the day, whatever sounds good to you, that is the right answer. Just always ask yourself, does this sound good? If you say yes, keep it like the way it is and keep on advancing, keep on progressing. If you don't like the sound, make sure to come back to it and just do a couple of tweaks and rearrangement until you like what you hear. For this one, I'm gonna use a compressor first. So I'm gonna go right here and get the Isotope vintage compressor. And usually what I like doing, I like taking away the auto gain. I don't care about that. Give me 1 second, I forgot to check something right here. Oh no, everything's fine. These are, I forgot to explain these are the modes. So I guess we're going with this mode. I forgot to definitely change the mode. I usually like choosing that one, but whatever. So for this one, we want the ratio to be 2 to 1, attack all the way up and release all the way down. The reason why I choose ratio 2 to 0, because we are doing a light compression to the beat. Once again, we already added the harmonizers, which is this. We already harmonized a couple of frequencies, well, all the frequencies, and I just want to do a light compression. The attack, I wanted to slowly start the plugin, and and as soon as the beat is done, it's just gonna fall down and cut the effect of the plugin. And usually I leave this in 200, which is good right there. And I'm just gonna press play, and that was loud. I'm gonna push down the threshold till I start seeing the red. I forgot to mention, I usually like seeing the red. So right here, we're pretty much limiting right now. So we're over limiting right now at 2.3, which is good because we're just using this compressor. When you over compress, I know it's not good, but what this means, you pretty much have like all the loud noise, literally the loud sounds, playing really hard, and you can't really hear like the other sounds are at the bottom, and you can't hear them at all. So what I'm trying to do is raise those soft sounds a little bit more up, so that way we can hear them. So that way they can have a good balance between something that's playing really loud and those low sounds. Just bring them a little bit, so that way we can hear them in the background, tickling a little bit more our ears. That's pretty much what I'm doing. And these are different modes. Sure, let's go with the different modes. So the first one to choose is smooth. I'm gonna do 40 just to over exaggerate, so that way you guys can hear what it sounds like, and I'm gonna A/B it too. Now if I bypass it, you guys can hear a difference. I'm gonna balance it out now between sharp and smooth. I'm gonna bypass it. But for this one, I think I liked it right here. I think I had it like this. I'm gonna push it a little bit harder. Too hard. So what a compressor actually does, like I said, besides raising those low notes so that way it can kind of compete with the higher sounds, when I pretty much what it does, it glues everything together, so that way everything won't sound like it's, you know, it's out there and being wild. It brings it together, so that way it sounds a lot much better. So I'm just gonna do that. So I like it right here. So this is without the plugin. We're gonna bypass it. You guys can hear the difference. Okay, so the next one, now I said we're in an EQ. So with the EQ, I like using the fat filter. Okay, so now we're gonna activate 5-band. So the really nice thing about this EQ is that it also provides the channel mode, the mid-side EQ, and I'm gonna show you guys what that does. Everybody knows that an EQ, we can either cut low frequencies, add high frequencies, turn off the resonance, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's literally a lot of things you can do. Let me put the 5 bands again. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna cut down the low frequencies, because a lot of people can't really hear the low frequencies. But I mean, they're really not necessary, the low frequencies. And usually I do anywhere from like 30 to 40, so I'm just gonna do 35, and this is what the low frequency sounds like. That right there. I can actually hear it okay because I got semi-professional headphones, and yeah, I can hear it. But I mean, most of the time people don't even care about that frequency. They care about the bass, but nobody's able to detect such low frequency. Maybe if I go 30, I mean, it's muddying up the beat, the track, so we don't want that. So I'm just gonna go with 30. Now for the highs, same thing. I like doing 2000, so there's the stuff you're not gonna be hearing. It sounds too like, and I just don't like, to my preference, I just don't like that. And now for the fun part, so we just cut some of the lows and some of the highs. Now we're gonna go right here, activate the mid side EQ. We're gonna click on this one, and we gotta make sure we click the side. So this technically what it's doing, it's pretty much the size means stereo wise, right? So what I want to do is cut all the lows that is stereo, and I usually like to do it anywhere from like 180 to like 220 or so, but I'm just gonna go with 200. And this is sound. All that, according to our computer, to the DAW, all that sound is stereo wise when it comes to a low spectrum field, so we're just killing all that. So yeah, so it's kind of like two plugins in one, because you got the normal EQ and then you got the mid side, which a lot of the EQs don't have. So definitely get Pro Q2 from FabFilter. I love this plugin a lot. So now that we got that, we're gonna go with, I'm a big fan of Isotope, honestly, and we're gonna go to the dynamics. This right here, it also, the first one is an exciter, which is a harmonizer. So now I'm doing another harmonizer right here that affects, it's pretty much like the same thing. It's another enhancer for the dynamics. It enhances the harmonies of the dynamics, but it's another enhancer harmony plugin pretty much. So what I like to do usually, same thing as the compressor, trying to attack up and down. The reason I do that is because, you know, I want to start slow, and then as soon as the sound is gone, it kills the effect immediately, at least for this spectrum. So same settings as the other one, 1.50. Why didn't it work? 1.5. That was weird. So I'm gonna do that for every single one of them. And once again, these are just my settings, and I feel like this works the best for me most of the time. Sometimes I do like to go around with some stuff. So now I'm gonna unclick this one. I don't know why I just always unclick this one. It says compressor release automatically adapts to, yeah, whatever that means. And for the limiter, I like putting 0.3. I should have done it to each one. 0.3. So I'm saying that once again, if I click on this one, that means I'm saying the settings for this frequency from 10K to 20K the way I want it, and this is the way I want it. So once again, we're gonna start with the bass and the kick. So I'm gonna press play. So at this point, I wanna tame the bass. We're gonna tame all the sounds. But we want to make sure we don't lose none of that power. We're gonna tame a wild beast, a wild monster, but at the same time we want to tame it without losing its quote unquote wildness. And how do you do that? Easy. Once you feel like you tame enough the bass, once it sounds good, I feel like I can do maybe 42.5. Let me do a little bit more. So this is the before. That is the bass signal running wild. And this is tamed. And I feel like we did a decent job of taming it, but I feel like we lost a little bit of power. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the gain for that one, so that way we don't lose any power, any punch. Because remember, it's not just the bass, it's the kick, the bass, anything under 200 hertz, that's the power that we're losing. So that for me sounds good. Now we're gonna go to the next section. Same process. That is way too much. you kind of just like want to barely, a little bit overdo the taming, but still let it run wild. I'm gonna do 41.5. That's good. Increase it 2 dBs as well. Before, after. I like it. Now we go with the next one. I think I overdid it. That sounds good. Before, after. It definitely sounds like I tamed a lot much harder on this frequency area, on this spectrum, versus the other ones. Just because usually the human ear can hear these frequency sounds a lot much better. Now we go with the last one. I'm gonna do 50. Oh man, maybe 57.5. Man, let me do 60 now. Double click. Maybe 58.5. And let me increase it just by 1 dB. So here's the before. Here's the after. Now all together, I'm gonna bypass it, and then I'm gonna activate the plug so that way you guys can hear the difference. So this is bypassing it. It definitely feels like we tame a lot of those wild frequencies, and now they're the way I can put it is like, you know, you're driving on a 2-lane and this wild beast, it's like on a 6-lane road, just going crazy berserk everywhere, and you're like, no, I'm gonna tame you and I'm gonna put you on a 2-lane road from Las Vegas all the way to New York, so that way it's not being too aggressively wild. Man, that was a really weird analogy, but hey, it worked. And for the last one, we got the exciter, compressor, EQ with the mid side, dynamics, and the last one that we need, man, I'm hungry too. And the last one we need is maximizer. This is pretty much just a limiter. Usually what I do right here, I usually play around with this one to make sure which one I like the most. And a limiter pretty much means that we're gonna be turning up the volume. So I want, for this one, I don't know, fast and edgy. So at this point, make sure to lower a little bit more your volume of your speakers or your headphones, because it then starts sounding really loud. And once again, I'm gonna bypass it just like with the other plugins. So this is what it sounds like with the bypass. Make sure to always put your ceiling at -0.3 dB, and we're gonna start increasing the volume. And you can see the peak levels right here. You want to make sure we get to the peak level that it is almost 0, so we can increase it a little bit more. We keep on increasing it. It's starting to sound really loud. -0.3, which is good, and right here we can start seeing we're already peaking. So I'm just gonna leave it at 7. And yeah, I'm gonna bypass it. So when I bypass it, that means all these effects are activated, but this one. Now when I activate this one, this is the limiter. It rises the volume of everything. So here it goes. 1, 2, 3. And for last but not least, I'm gonna bypass the master channel so that way you guys can hear it. So by itself, I'm just gonna play entire beat, or half of the beat at least. So this is without any mastering, just a really well mix. As you guys can hear, everything sounds really nice, really great. Now when I activate this, is gonna activate all the plugins, and man, it sounds so much sweeter. Here goes 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, guys, this is how you master a beat. So you can send it off to whoever you guys want to send it off to. If you guys are working with somebody, be like, yo, I just mastered this beat, check this one out. If they like it, always make sure to send a mixed beat by itself without the mastering track, so that way they can hear the differences. But yeah, guys, I hope you liked this video. Once again, this is how to master a track using, in this case, Isotope and One Fat Filter plugin. But I mean, I hope you guys learned something from this. If you guys did, feel free to leave a comment saying what you guys learned, what was the best thing about the video. And I mean, just any kind of feedback will help me out a lot. Like the video if you guys liked it, and once again, just subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell so that way you guys can be informed when I'm dropping videos every single time. And yeah, follow your boy on Instagram too, don't forget about that. Alright people, that's it. Fusion is out. Peace.